This year is a different year and the beginning of a different chapter. Banks are engaging, corporates are engaging, sovereign wealth funds are engaging. That's creating flows that are outstripping the supply that's available, and we're seeing price push higher.
Breaking news. So much is happening in crypto today. Smash the like button and make sure you watch today's whole video. President Trump says the Genius Act will be passed tomorrow. This is after meeting with and speaking to all the holdouts today. And Congress has been moving all these bills along. This comes directly after Congress passes vote on the motion to advance the Genius and Clarity Acts. Things are moving this week for crypto in Congress. We're still looking for 3 big crypto bills to get passed this week. This explains why Bitcoin is bouncing back. This explains why Ethereum and altcoins are surging. Smash the like button. This is what you can expect this week in Congress for crypto.
Here's what we're going to see. Over the next 2 days, the House is set to pass 3 major bills that the crypto industry has been asking for. One deals with regulations on stablecoins. That's the Genius Act we've been talking about. The other is a bill called Clarity. Now, that's a market structure bill, and it defines the market for digital assets, when they're a security, when they're going to be a commodity. And then you've got a final bill that would ban the creation of a central bank digital currency, a CBDC. Now, a redo of yesterday's procedural vote to advance to all 3 that's coming up here a little after noon. But what's important to remember is that while there are 3 different bills, they're on 2 different tracks. So that stablecoin bill already passed the Senate, got a good bipartisan vote. We're expecting similar in the House. The House, at this point, it seems likely to pass it tomorrow. Either way, we expect it to pass. We expect it could be signed into law before the end of the week. Today, the House is looking at potentially voting on the 2 other bills, market structure and the central bank digital currency. Both of those bills, though, they're not done with the House. They would then need to go to the Senate. And because those bills are more complex, they're likely to take a little bit longer to get done, or a lot longer, depending how negotiations go. Senator Cynthia Lummis, she's working on a Senate version of the House market structure bill, and she told me yesterday that they expect to have a draft of their bill out this week, but they might not start actually moving it forward until the fall or even later. Now, some sources I've spoken with in the industry and on Capitol Hill say there is a real question whether all 3 can get done or if it will just be stablecoin. But it sounds like the pressure is certainly on these lawmakers to be able to move this, especially market structure, because, guys, that's the one that a lot of these crypto industries want. That's the one that's really going to have a major impact. But, of course, it is the harder one to get done.
The big question of the day is, at what price does Bitcoin top this cycle? I want to be ready when Bitcoin tops this cycle. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. This is a continuing story, and we're going to keep you updated here like we always do on a daily basis. But let me show you 3 different recent market expert predictions. 3 different expert analysts give their Bitcoin top prediction for Bitcoin in 2025. All 3 of these experts are bullish on Bitcoin. They all have different price predictions and reasonings as to why they think Bitcoin gets to the price target that they do. First, I want to show you this. Katie Stockton, founder and managing partner of Fairlead. Her prediction seems to be based entirely off of TA and nothing to do with fundamental adoption. She says that she thinks Bitcoin finds a top around $135,000 in Q3. This was interesting to me. Listen to her reasoning why.
It's easy to forget that before this big breakout, we did have maybe 7-8 weeks of consolidation. So it feels like it's ancient history right now, but the breakout did follow a pause that obviously refreshed the uptrend. We saw that 108,300 level that we've been citing cleared, and that happened obviously very decisively. We are able with the breakouts to sort of generate these measured move projections, which essentially they're assuming the trajectory of the prevailing trend ahead of the corrective phase is maintaining itself. And that puts Bitcoin around 135,000 as an intermediate term or maybe a quarter long type of objective. It seemed pretty aggressive a few days ago, maybe now a little bit less so, but we are impressed by the breakout.
wow, 135,000. That's quite a number.
I think our next expert is a little bit more informed onto what's actually going on with Bitcoin and crypto from a fundamental adoption point of view. He's very aware that nation states and sovereign wealth is a major factor driving up gains this year. And keep in mind, sovereign wealth doesn't buy $100,000 of Bitcoin or $1 million of Bitcoin. They buy hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin at one clip. Either way, we are in a new era where nation states are interested in accumulating Bitcoin. All nation states, or most of them, are pretty much on zero when it comes to buying Bitcoin. So this expert says that alone will take Bitcoin's price up to $150,000 this year. Listen to him explain why.
You see Bitcoin rising to $150,000 a coin. And I read your stuff. So when does it get there?
It's going to happen in the next 6 months. And this is the golden age of digital assets, Stuart. What's going to happen is we've seen the rulings come in, and we're seeing everything from the crypto regulations, the ability to get to the Clarity Act, the anti-CDBC, Surveillance State Act, and the Genius Act. They're all coming through, as we heard. The White House cut some deals overnight, and that's really driving the run to Bitcoin. And then the other piece is we're hoping interest rates do come down. And when they do come down, what it does is create a devaluation of the dollar, meaning people are going to go to growth assets and actually risk on activities. So I think that's really why we see 150,000 on the Bitcoin side.
That would be quite a move, wouldn't it? They're from 120 to 150. I'm trying to do the math. That's about, what, 25%, something like that?
Definitely. And it's going to happen because what you're going to see is you're going to see more countries actually have Bitcoin reserves. That's going to actually add for demand. And I think that's the other piece. And of course, having the regulations in the US means we're going to increase the Bitcoin conversion. So you'll see more companies like Circle emerge in terms of having the ability of stable coins.
Before we get to our final Bitcoin price prediction, let's talk altcoins. Altcoin season is loading. Ethereum hit 3,300 for the first time in 5 months. We knew this was going to happen. We tried to tell you about this. I watched Bitcoin go from just a meme to making millionaires. Now it's happening with altcoins. Comment which crypto coin you feel like is one of those rare opportunities, either your early or your exit liquidity. Your call. Tell me which altcoin you see the most opportunity with in the comments section below. I want to highlight to you a pretty interesting altcoin project. Channel partner Manyu, the most famous and pampered dog across social media. Check this project out. This is already a very popular meme online. 7 million TikTok, 3 million Instagram, 12 million YouTube. And now this popular meme is turning into one of the most popular meme coins, or at least that's the goal. The ticker is Manyu, M-A-N-Y-U. Built on Ethereum, Manyu is known as the most famous and pampered Shiba Inu across social media, with over 360 million video views and a combined following of over 20 million, currently listed on CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko, with supply officially verified on Etherscan to ensure transparency. As far as exchanges go, Manyu is already trading on MEXC, LBank, Bitmart, XT, Poloniex, KSEX, and Gate.io Alpha. This is already a lot of exchanges. Now, what makes this project the most interesting? A major development was recently achieved, basically onboarding the 7 official admins from the Shiba Inu team, who are now key supporters as advisors to the project. Since then, their account has even gained a follow and public support from the official SHIB Twitter. Now, the upside potential from here has already been significant, as in just under a week, they became the 8th largest dog-themed ETH coin, already achieving a 50 million plus DEX volume in under 1 week, excluding centralized exchange figures. You gotta think, with altcoin sentiment coming back in such a big way recently, something like this with a built-in audience that could attract tons of different people could be good. 100% liquidity burnt, 1 quadrillion total supply, contract renounced, 0 buy tax, 0 sell tax. This is one cute internet dog. Check this project out. I'm going to link their website, link their Twitter. Make sure you give them a follow to stay updated I'm going to keep this project on my radar. Finally, perhaps our most informed expert also seems to be the most bullish. The Bitwise CEO sees the ETF buy volume coming in. He knows 125 public companies now hold Bitcoin on their balance sheets today. There are still 50,000 public companies in the world. We are still early on this, but the momentum is up and to the right. He says that it is his expert opinion that $200,000 Bitcoin is programmed. Tell me what you think of his reasoning in the comments below. My name is Aaron at Altcoin Daily. Subscribe to our channel. Things are really heating up. We're going to be focusing on altcoins a lot more in the coming months, so make sure you subscribe.
2025 is a watershed year for an asset class that people have heard about ad nauseum for 16 years now. And it's a watershed year because of the very topic that you've raised, because of regulation. In the US, it's been a 180 this year from a perennial headwind for the space to, for the first time in those 16 years, a tailwind. And I think this week, Crypto Week in DC, is a manifestation of that. There are 3 different bills being discussed, the Genius Act, the Clarity Act, the Anti-CBDC Act. It has a longer name than that. But we could get into the specifics, but I think the big picture is that regulatory uncertainty, the lack of regulatory clarity, has been the reason for 15, 16 years that the mainstream capital markets haven't felt comfortable engaging with that space. That's changing this year, and it's opening a new chapter. And this week is an important step on that front.
You reckon that we could be looking at, excuse me, at Bitcoin at $200,000 by the end of the year?
That's right. Yeah, every year, our research team, led by our CIO, Matt Hogan, put out some predictions, 10 predictions. And $200,000 Bitcoin is our prediction for the ending price of Bitcoin this year.
What will push it higher? Partly institutions more comfortable?
Yeah, it sounds so basic, but for 15 years, crypto and Bitcoin has been a very hard asset class for the $100 trillion capital markets to participate in, and that's changing. This year is a different year and the beginning of a different chapter. And the reason it's changing is because of this topic of regulation. It's now opening up. Banks are engaging, corporates are engaging, sovereign wealth funds are engaging, and that's creating flows that are outstripping the supply that's available, and we're seeing price push higher throughout the course of this year already.